Hey folks, welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. Looks like it's going to be an eventful day of trade. So many stocks to react to, and the SGX Nifty is down about 111 points. Our research team is here to prep you for the day. So without wasting any time, let's welcome them on board. Anuj, let me begin with you. What are you looking at today?
Well, Sonia, obviously ICICI Bank will dominate the mind space, but I'll let Abhishek do that. So, the stock that you can focus on perhaps is State Bank of India. That's a stock which has a very positive correlation to the ICICI Bank numbers and its commentary. So I think that's something, and very quietly that's also been moving up. So that's something that I'll have as first stock on my radar. And the second stock that I'll be tracking is Bharti Airtel. I was making this point even on Friday now that it's the AGR case is now almost out of the way. It's clearly the market's way of saying it's going to be a duopoly, and Bharti Airtel has once again. The only problem is every time it approaches 550, 560, there's some selling which happens. So it needs to cross that, in fact 575 thereabout. But that could be another stock that you want to keep on your radar.
There are a couple of things which may be negative for banks is Voda. I mean, their exposure to banks. And secondly, when, the Jonathan Garner comment that when there are these higher COVID cases, usually domestic facing companies are not the leaders of the market. So today, those may work against, though as you say, ICICI should have a positive rub-off on SBI. Let's see. But Reliance will, of course, take all the eyeballs.
Oh, it will. I'm going with green for Reliance. Consolidated numbers are largely in line with the estimates, no surprises there. But the reason I'm going with green is because the Jio performance was very encouraging this time. It was a beat led by a strong subscriber addition. The subscriber addition came in at 14.4 million versus an estimate of 8 to 10 million. Not just that, the average revenue per user actually went up about 0.1% versus expectations of a downtake. The retail business, though, was under pressure, but that was on expected lines because of the second COVID wave hitting their earnings. Retail revenues down 16% quarter on quarter, EBITDA down 46%. But the other thing that the street would like is that the oil to chemical business has been stable this time around. EBITDA up 7% quarter on quarter and 48% on a year-on-year basis. CLSA put out a note saying that despite the near-term risks of earnings downgrades, they maintain an outperform on the back of longer-term positives. However, one thing to point out was that there was no incremental update on the new energy business, on the Jio phone, on the O2C stake sale or the Just Dial acquisition. So that was a bit of a dampener, but I'm going with green because the Jio business was very encouraging and oil to chemical was stable.
Okay, so going with green, standard disclaimer of course flashing on the screen. But really for me, ICICI Bank is going to be the stock to track today, even though it was already up about 3% on Friday. But Abhishek, the numbers look good?
Well, the numbers are very good, Anuj. If you take into account their comparison with HDFC Bank, for the last 10 quarters, ICICI Bank's NI growth has outperformed HDFC Bank's NI growth. So in last 17 quarters, HDFC Bank's net interest margin has declined from 4.4% to about 4.1%. However, for ICICI Bank, it has increased from 3.27 to about 3.89%, perhaps a 26-quarter high on net interest margin. Slippages were elevated this time around as collections were impacted in the agriculture book. However, gross NPA increased only by 19 basis points sequentially, and provision coverage ratio was very healthy at around 78.5%. The management in con call has guided that they see front end of slippages coming in H1 FY22, and they see opportunities to have improvement in the core operating profit growth ahead also. So versus our poll, NII was a beat. However, on account of other income decline and elevated provision, PAT missed our poll. Brokerages have given a thumbs up. Target price by CLSA is the highest on street at around 940 per share. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We'll keep calling you again and again for all these comparisons. Abhishek, let's get to Mangalam. Mangalam ITC.
Well, ITC was a good show, Lata. If you take a look at the revenues, 12,200 and something crores is above our expectations of around 11,200 odd crores. The EBITDA also closer to the 4,000 crore mark as against street expectations of 3861 odd crores. The net profit, however, was a miss, and that was largely on account of other income, which came in around 300-400 crore lower as against the same time last year. Adjusted for that, it was also higher than estimates. But the important numbers, the cigarette revenue growth came in at 33%. The street was working with a number of just around 25 to 30 odd %, and that was led by almost 31-32% sort of cigarette volume growth. The street again was working with a number of 24 to 28%. Not only only that, we did see some margin expansion in the cigarette vertical as well. The FMCG business, remember, same time last year was a high base because people stocked up on biscuits, etc. But it continued to grow at the higher end of estimates at around 10.5%. So see some positivity out there. The stock was higher ahead of numbers. Let's see whether the momentum continues today or not.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Mangalam. But let's find out more about JSW Steel's performance. Nigel is here to give us the fine print. Nigel, hi, morning.
Well, morning, Sonia. The JSW Steel has been buzzing in the last few days, so just keep that in mind, though the numbers looked very, very good. Now, in terms of an EBITDA number, well, that beat our poll comfortably by close to around 900 crores approximately. The beat came on both aspects. One is the domestic EBITDA per ton that came in more than 26,000 rupees per ton. We were in that vicinity of around 24 to around 25,000 rupees per ton. That's the best I've ever seen, so that looked good. And the international operations, well, normally they were giving a loss, EBITDA loss of around 250 to around 300 crores. This time around, the derived number in terms of international operations were a positive EBITDA number to the tune of around 290 crores. The only problems are for them is that the debt number continues to remain high. They have big capex as well, so that's around 55,000 crores as we speak. And the second factor is the street will be taking note of this because they're making some investments in group companies like JSW Paints. They'll be putting in close to around 750 crores odd, and in JSW Energy they've committed close to around 400 crores approximately. So that could be a bit of a spoiler, but otherwise the numbers look good. Back to you.
Yeah, but when numbers are so good and, the debt market is so cheap, I guess it's time for expansions. Markets may have a broad view of that. Let's see. Let's get back to some more financials. SBI Cards and Yes Bank, Abhishek.
Well, Lata, SBI card has seen stress reducing for them, on a sequential basis. So the absolute value of restructuring book has declined by amount, 28% sequentially. The restructuring book, now forms 5.6% of the loans versus 7.6% in the previous quarter. Their asset quality has improved, by almost 110 basis points sequentially. The net interest margin has expanded to 14.8% when compared to 13.2% sequentially, which meant that their profit after tax was at 305 crore, up about 74% sequentially. Yes Bank has surprised positively by giving a PAT of about 207 crore versus our poll of a loss of more than 1400 crore. Their asset quality remained under control, gross NPA at 15.6 when compared to 15.4% in the previous quarter. On the negative side, the restructuring book has increased massively by almost 300 basis points quarter on quarter. The management has guided in the con call that FY22 net interest margin would be around 2.75%, and they see recoveries of about 5,000 crore in FY22 and deposits to grow faster, and CASA ratio, that is low cost deposit ratio, around 30% from current level of 27.5%. Back to you.
Well, I guess the restructured assets will be a spot of bother, Abhishek. You are boldly saying green for both. I would say green definitely for SBI Card. Yes Bank, let's wait and watch.
But let's go across to Nigel to find out how Ambuja Cement did. Nigel?
Ambuja Cements has kept up the pace. We have been seeing beats coming in from the cement companies, and Ambuja Cements is no different. Now, in terms of the volume number, it beat estimates by close to around 200,000 tons odd, and the realizations came in higher by close to around 5.5%. Remember, Ambuja Cements, they don't have exposure to South India, so 5.5% jump up in terms of realization will be viewed positively. The operational numbers look good. The EBITDA per ton was its best we've seen in multiple years, coming in at around 1,500 rupees per ton. The street has been disappointed with Ambuja Cements as well as ACC in the last many years because they have lacked that aggression. Now that's coming back because, their Rajasthan plant, that will be commissioned in the third quarter of this year. So that's positive. And they have also gone ahead and announced another expansion, 1.5 million tons in Punjab. The street will like this sort of aggression, though keep in mind, the stock has seen a big run. In this month itself, it's up close to around 19% or thereabouts. Back to you guys.
Okay, Nigel, yes, cement stocks have been on a tear. Agam, what about United Spirits?
I can come back on United Spirits, but let me take you through some of the other earnings that I'm tracking right now, and I have MCX right at the top. And well, we have operating income which has declined by as much as 10% sequentially. We're looking at a PAT of up as much as 3.5%. Again, this is on a sequential basis, so it hasn't been the best set of numbers for MCX. We are looking at some weakness there, and on the other hand, I'm also tracking GNA Accels, where the numbers have been really strong. In fact, revenues are up as much as 4 times. Our operating margins coming in at around 16.2 times against 5.2 times. And they've also posted a profit of 29 crores against a loss of around 6.5 crores.
Okay.
Thanks for that. DNA Axles in particular, I mean, look at the operating profit margin, look at the increase. Thank you very much, Agam, for that. Nigel, there's some news brewing in JSPL.
Well, that's right. You know, JSPL, we here at CNBC TV18 said that the promoters could relook at that deal with regard to JPL. And that's precisely what they have announced over the weekend. So one being that they're going to be launching now a competitive bidding process for the assets at JPL. If they get a better bid, then great news for shareholders. And the other factor is they made the deal a lot more simpler. Remember, there is some intercorporate deposits between JPL and JSPL. Now they've cleared that out as well. So the promoters, well, they'll be paying closer on 7,400 crores odd. But the contours are something that the street will like quite a bit, because the cash upfront, that stays at around 3,000 crores odd. What the street was cautious on earlier was, JSPL had to service a loan that was given to JPL, and they would have to pay roughly around 9% odd. Now, the promoter entity is saying, you give that in our books, and they've done away with this transaction. So the enterprise value on the whole stays, similar. But the street will like the fact that they've simplified the deal and they're going to be putting money upfront on the table. The deleveraging for JSPL continues. So this move will be viewed positively. Back to you guys.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. The move will be viewed positively. What about United Spirits? Mangalam, in high spirits or not?
In high spirits, the smokers didn't disappoint, the drinkers didn't either, because revenues were better than estimates, just above 1,600 crores as against poll of just under 1,600 crores. The EBITDA at 168 crores as well, slightly higher than the poll of 160 odd crores. Importantly, the net profit, that came in at 69 crores versus a poll of 60 crores, but that has an element of exceptional of around 35 odd crores. So just for that, the net profit is a bigger beat. The volumes grew at around 60%. The street was working with 56 to 58%. And in the volumes itself, Prestige and above, the slightly meatier part of their business, saw a growth of 60%. Popular segment grew by around 62% as well. The management is confident of this recovery momentum accelerating going forward. And today will be the first conference call held by the new leader, Ms. Hina Nagarajan. So we'll hear into that, and that would be a bigger trigger for the stock than anything else.
Fair point. Look forward. Thanks a lot for that, Mangalam. And Ekta has a bunch of results on her radar. Ekta?
Well, yes, pharmaceutical stocks, Jubilant Pharmova. I expect the stock to probably be in the green, but let's wait and watch. Like you mentioned, for Yes Bank, revenue was up 41%, margins 23%, profit from continuing operations 160.5 crores. Company is going to demerge its API business, but there is some caution because remember, they've received an import alert for their Roorkee plant, which is estimated to knock off around 3% of consolidated sales, and a large part of their COVID-19 related order book has already been realized in Q1. Whether or not that weighs, that's something that the street will watch out for. Panacea Bio in focus because of the Sputnik supply, but numbers have been disappointed. Revenue is flat year on year. EBITDA loss of 1.55 crores and a loss of around 57 crores on the bottom line. Remember, the Sputnik vaccine supply will realize later. It's not in these numbers.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. So we'll keep an eye out on Panacea Biotech. But let's go across to Rima now. She has some more numbers on her radar. Rima, hi, morning.
Hi, morning. Let me start with Symphony, where the numbers look good on a year-on-year basis. That's on account of the low base. So revenues are up 54%. But as the management said in their press release, the performance is substantially lower than a normal quarter due to the second COVID wave. And just take a look at it on a quarter-on-quarter basis, where revenues are down 32% and margins at 4.3% is lower than the March quarter margins at 25%. ABB Power has reported a decent set of earnings, revenue growth at 24%. Stable margins, profits are up 50% on a year-on-year basis. For Cignity Technology, it's a small IT company, revenue growth looks robust at 13.5%, but due to an increase in employee costs, their margins have shrunk. Back to you.
Okay, thanks for that. And finally, Ekta, you too have some more stocks, non-result news.
Yes, absolutely. Bajaj Consumer, I'll start with that. They've launched 100% pure coconut oil. NTPC, the second unit of an 800 megawatt capacity at their Daripalli super thermal power plant, has completed trial operations. Gayatri Projects, watch out for that one. Invocation of pledge of 900,000 shares for non-payment of dues of NCDs worth close to 92 odd crores. But they've said they've signed an MOU with an overseas investor to explore fund infusion options in the company. The said investors expected to start due diligence with a 90-day exclusivity period. Lastly, PVR Inox, cinemas in Delhi to reopen with a 50% occupancy.
Okay, some relief for these cinema, goers as well as the companies. So PVR, Inox in focus. But let's do a quick recap of all the top stocks in focus. Stocks with positive news flow today: Reliance Industries, ICICI Bank, ITC, JSW Steel, SBI Cards, Yes Bank, Ambuja Cements, JSPL, Jubilant Pharmova, ABB Power, GNA Axles, United Spirits, Bajaj Consumer, NTPC, PVR, Inox and Nectar Life Sciences. While stocks with negative news flow today: Panacea Biotech, Symphony, Signity Tech, MC